Is it distance or is it darkness? I think in the Western Church we've used different motifs to try and help us understand the gospel, but I think sometimes we make life more difficult for ourselves than it needs to be. For example, we use a motif of distance, that we are far away from God. It's like we're on a different side of the canyon from God, and Jesus comes and bridges the canyon, and then we walk over the bridge to get to God, and Jesus is the bridge. John, however, in his gospel doesn't ever use that motif. He never uses that theology of distance. He only uses a theology of darkness. And he would say that into the darkness a light has come, the light has dawned. And then he would say, but the darkness has not understood it, the darkness cannot overcome it. Light and darkness is a recurring theme in John's gospel. And remember, John was the beloved disciple who seemed to have the most intimate friendship with Jesus. And the way he would want to describe this union and this relationship in this gospel is light and darkness. So the answer to the problem seems to be light in the darkness, and our blindness to the light is a part of the problem. That we just don't see the light. John makes that clear, that the light came into the world, and although the world was made through him, the world did not know him, did not recognize him. He came to his own, but his own did not receive him. It's almost like at the end of the Chronicles of Narnia, when you're in Aslan's new creation, Aslan's land, and there are these dwarf type characters that are there, but they do not get it. They are blind. They don't taste it. They don't smell it. They don't see it. They don't sense it. They are completely numb to the beauty and the glory that is around them, and they are stuck in this tiny, self-absorbed, dark, small, sort of cruel world, even whilst they are in the presence of the beautiful new land that they inhabit. But they can't see it and they can't get it. That seems to be more like the motif that John uses to help us understand who we are and what life is like. That we are in the presence of God. We are in God's glorious creation. We are held together by Him. The light has come to us, but we don't understand Him. We don't receive Him. And the gospel is that we would have eyes that now see, hearts that would receive, lives that are wide open to the light that has dawned upon us. So at this Advent time, it's good to remember that John is actually building upon the theology of Isaiah. Isaiah 9, when he talks about, unto us a child is born, a son is given. And he says that into this darkness, a light has dawned. To those living in the land of shadows, the light has come. And so there's this continuous theme of the light of God illuminating us, showing us reality, showing us truth. Paul actually uses the same kind of language when he says, oh, that the eyes of our hearts would be opened. It's like we've been blind and we need to now see. There's been darkness. We need to understand the light. The eyes of our heart would be opened that we might apprehend the inheritance that has been given to us, the great abundance of God's generosity and kingdom towards us, that the eyes of our hearts would be opened. So again, just to reinforce that I think the problem is not so much our distance from God, but our blindness to the fact that we already live in God, that we are in His presence, in His creation, that the light has dawned, and it is for us to yield and agree to the light and to indeed live in the light. And one of the amazing parts of the gospel in Matthew is not only that Jesus is the light of the world, but He looks at us and He says to us, hey, you are the light of the world. So there's something even within us that God can reconcile and restore and even glorify, that His light might shine through us. So this Advent season, might you know God's peace resting upon you as the shepherds heard. Might you experience the vast embrace of the gospel, that it would reach one and all. And may we enjoy the light of the gospel, the light of the life of God, shining in us and shining upon us and even shining through us into the darkness of the world. So, as you ponder these things, May you enjoy God's peace, and I'll catch up with you again in a couple of weeks. I'm going to take a little break over Christmas, New Year, and then we'll catch up again at the beginning of January. Till then, bless you. Peace.